Okay, Bill Macy, Shameless, six seasons in, I believe. 6 seasons in. What was the most?
Six in the can. Starting the 7th tomorrow.
Yeah. So with 6 seasons, what's been the most despicable thing Frank's done?
Oh man, that's so easy. It's tough. Okay, you know, I took a phone call for a woman and said she didn't need a heart transplant, and she died. I stole a prosthetic leg from this adorable 11-year-old girl and had a tugging match with her over her leg because I wanted it back. Apparently I was drinking heavily at the time, or at least the character was. I called child services and had all the kids taken away and put in foster home, although Frank says that never happened. But, you know, I'm the actor. I was there. He actually did that. And, oh, gosh, what else? I busted up Fiona's wedding. Oops. Have you seen season 6?
Yes.
Okay, so I busted up Fiona's wedding, although I don't know why they were so angry about that.
Yeah. So why don't you why don't you know why they're so angry about that?
In vino veritas, I mean, she was about to marry a guy who's still a junkie and didn't tell her, and so I busted him, and I wanted to be in the wedding, and I'm her father, and it's a lovely speech that they wrote for Frank, where he says, "Look, I'm a messed up guy, I know that, but I've always accepted you all." And then I go through the family and I say, "Look, I mean, you know, look how screwed up all of you are, but I accept you," or at least Frank thinks he does. It was a lovely speech.
Mm. And you play a character that's done such despicable things over the course of the series, from, you know, season 1, sleeping with your son's girlfriend, to all the way through to taking someone's heart or canceling the heart transplant and things like that. What is there to like about Frank amongst all that despicableness?
He's a movable party. He, generally speaking, says the difficult things that other people are afraid to say. He's got a great sense of humor. He's not dumb. As a matter of fact, I think he's a rather clever fellow and pretty well read. He loves life. He's ambitious. He's hardworking. You know, all you have to do is just take reality and just skew it a couple of degrees to the left, and then you got Frank Gallagher. He's doing things for all the right reasons, and they come out so wrong. Another way of putting it is that he's an addict, and, you know, that messes up everything.
Mm. And what do you think this show says about addiction?
That it ruins lives, especially in this past season. Lip has got a drinking problem now. In a season past, Fiona messed around with drugs and ended up in the slammer for it, and almost lost the family because of it. We almost lost little Liam. On one hand, I think the show deals with drugs in a funny way, because they get high a lot and they have a good time. They party like Gallagher's. But I think the show doesn't shy away from the dark side of that and how it can wreck lives and wreck families. And I think this coming season 7 is going to be a lot about Lip. There's this line has popped up many times over the past 6 seasons that everyone says, "Oh my God, I don't want to end up like Dad. I don't want to end up like Frank." And some of them are going to end up like Frank.
Mm. You've talked a bit about how, with dealing with sort of addiction, you've got this sort of there's sort of like a funny side to it, but a like real tragic side to it in the show. You're also talking about how sort of there's really despicable things Frank does, but there's something really likable about him. Is it hard for you as an actor sometimes to find the balance between the light and dark, the good and the bad?
I have to talk to myself every once in a while. It's not my job so much to find the balance, but I guess it was somewhere in the first quarter of the second season, I had finished a scene and I was thinking about it and I thought, man, I just did a really good drunk. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, oh my God, I think I just did a really good drunk, but I forgot to do the scene. So I have to be assiduous, hewing to the through line of what the scene is about. It's really easy to let everything go into a narcotic haze and just be funny all the time and really not have anything to say. Every once in a while, I have to remind myself to dig deep in some scenes. It's appropriate. But that's been my thing as an actor. I have a tendency to skitter along the top of emotional things. I'm Lutheran. I don't like being emotional.
And before we started the chat, because you've been doing the show for 6-7 years now, and before we started this interview, you were reflecting on how much it's been like a family that you get to come back and see each year, having just started the table read for season 7. What is that family dynamic of not the Gallaghers, but the Shameless cast and crew?
That's an excellent question. Well, true to the art, I'm sort of out of it. The cast hangs out together a good bit. Some of them are very good friends, but I never hang out with them. And one of the reasons for that is that I have a wife and 2 kids, 14 and 16. I've just directed 3 films in the last 4 years, so I've been a busy boy. And also, they're young. I'm twice their age. They once said, it was Lip's birthday, and they said, "Are you going to come?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm there." I said, "Where is it?" They said, "In Santa Monica." Well, where are you right now in Australia?
Sydney,
Okay,
like the North Shore, a bit north of the bridge.
All right, it's like saying it's in Perth.
Yeah, yeah. With that like traffic in LA and the M5, it definitely is.
Yeah, Santa Monica. You might as well do it in New York to get to Santa Monica. I said, "Oh man, what time?" They said 10. I said, "Oh man, what are you doing? A party at 10 o'clock in the morning?" No, 10 at night, they said. Well, I didn't make that party. 10 o'clock at night, I've been in bed for an hour. So back to your question. They're really good friends. We've watched them grow up. Little Emma Kenny was, 12 when she started this show. And Ethan, too. Now his voice dropped at lunch one day. I mean, he walked away talking like a boy. He came back with this deep voice. He's getting a car. Everyone's grown up. And for me, being the altar cocker in this thing, or the old fart, I've loved watching them develop as actors. I've always thought when you get on a TV show, you know that book, The Outliers, you get your 10,000 hours in? Mm. Well, doing a TV show is putting in your 10,000 hours. And I've always felt actors are going to get a lot better, or they're going to get a lot worse on a hit TV show. These actors have gotten a lot better, and they're really top notch. I mean, they give me a run for my money. And, not to put too fine a point on it, I feel like my acting is improved too, because I get to practice it a lot more than I did when I was just doing features. So it's a family like that. We've all watched each other grow and thrive, and I had real love for them. It was thrilling to walk into that room today and to see all those. It's a good looking cast, and they're all so interesting, and they've got quite the lives. A lot of them have babies now. A lot of them have been born since we've been shooting this. It's lovely.
Was today the first day you were back in the room?
Since last season, yes. It was what we call the table read. We always start each episode with a table read. And they start shooting on Wednesday, not tomorrow, not Tuesday. And our show is very well run. Our scripts are 98% finished a week before we shoot. Yeah. So there's none of that nonsense of us going overtime. We shoot a huge page count every day, 8, 9, 10 pages some days. We rarely go overtime. We never go over budget. We're one of the cheaper hours on television. And it's because the writers get the script to us a week beforehand. So there's no excuses, man. You've had the script for a week. There's no excuses. This cast comes completely ready to rock and roll. They know the lines. They're ready to go.
Mm. Is there much, when you walked into that room today, what was the first thing that you thought, the first thing when you saw everyone?
I think what was on my mind, it was the same on everyone's mind, was what are the odds to get a show that'll go 7 seasons? It's a real blessing. It's a real gift, and it's rare. And I'm not sure we're going to be finished after 7.
And what's your what is it like for you, who's had a lot of work in film as an actor, to get to play a character for 7 years? Do you is there any element of tiring of it, or is it something that you get to explore a character in a way you don't in film? Like what is that experience like of getting to flesh someone out for so long?
Well, my first impulse when we first started was that it was lovely. Every actor's had this. You do a scene in a big feature. You don't get to act much in a feature. You're in your trailer waiting. It takes them forever to set up scenes. And if you're an actor like me, I'm a character actor. So I would come in for a week or 2 and then leave. Anyway, you do a big scene, and in the car on the way home, you go, kadoing, I now know how to do that scene. And it's too late. And that is a disease that actors get, of keep acting the scene after you've shot it. You're never going back to reshoot it, so you just torture yourself. It was lovely doing a TV show, because on those days that I walked away feeling, I didn't do that very well, no sweat. There's another episode coming. I get another crack at it. And that whole notion that you get 6 weeks on a feature film, and by the 6th week, you think, now I get it. I get this character. Can we start over? Well, on a feature, you don't get to start over. On a TV show, once you get the character, they keep writing. The other side of that sword is that when a show is a hit, it takes very brave people to pull it off the air when the writing gets tired. I think I'm working for fantastic people, and they'll know when the writers don't have anything more to say. I don't think we've reached that point, though.
Mm. Yeah, it's so interesting you saying that, because I think about TV in that sense of you can come back and do the next episode. I'm a teacher in my my other job's teacher, and the one thing you can't do as teacher is live or die off one lesson. If you've done something wrong, you come in the next day and you get the chance to teach it again. And it just has made me think almost like the TV show is a real learning experience. You can't live or die off an episode. Anything you learn from an episode, you get to apply the next week.
Yes, and I think the lesson might be even greater than that. Probably for all people, but certainly for actors, you have to do the moment and move on. I think we have to do that in life also. But you do the moment, give it your best shot, and move on, and don't look back. And if you feel like you didn't give it your best shot because you were ill-prepared, well, make sure that doesn't happen anymore. But you must move on. Every actor's had this, especially in the theater. When you screw up a moment in a play, and you can ruin the rest of your performance because it just keeps gnawing at you. And the professional thing to do is you blow the moment, move on. Doesn't mean you need to blow the next moment. And television is a good teacher of that lesson. Also, you get an episode that's great. You have great lines, but then you get an episode where you think, I don't understand this. This is not fun. I don't like what they wrote. Well, do it anyway. Do it anyway. It's not the end of the world. Do your job. Move on.
Was there anything you ever haven't liked that they've written on Shameless?
Are you joking? I was born in Miami, Florida. I grew up in the country. I'm shocked every time I read a script. I most of the times I've got my hand over one part of my face or another when I read what they're going to have me do. I take some pride. There was one time, there was one gag. I said, that's just too far. It was early in the second season. It was just too heinous. And I said, please, let's do that. Other than that, I've done every single thing they've thrown at me. And I take a bit of pride in that because some of them were, I mean, I'd look at in the table read, I'd look at my fellow cast members and they were going, oh, you poor schmuck. What are you going to do?
Do you want to tell us what that thing in season 2 was that you wouldn't do?
Nope.
Fair enough. What's been, other than that moment in season 2, what's been the one that sort of pushed you the closest to that?
Well, here's a good example. I think last season, first show, maybe the second. In the season before, I'd had that lovely affair with this doctor. And for the first time in his life, Frank fell in love, real love, selfless love. And when she died, he was bereft. And they spent the first part of the season with Frank soul shopping and missing her horribly and weeping all the time. I was weeping for the first 3 shows. And I went to her graveyard, and the stage direction was, he has sex with her grave. No explanation as to what that looks like or what I was supposed to do. That's what they wrote for me to do. And I was sort of pleased. I thought, okay, that's all I need. And I came up with a solution. I had the experience, a lot of my friends see an episode and then they can't look at me.
How did you approach the scene of having sex with the grave?
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Fuck dirt? You can't do that. So I made up a little conversation. You know, on our show, people learn the lines exactly and you say them exactly. And there's no ad-libbing. Every once in a while, a director will say, okay, I've got what I need. Mix it up. You guys want to, but we don't do that much. So in that scene, I said, okay, he has sex with the grave. I'll do that. Okay, roll the cameras. I'm not saying what I'm going to do. And I went to town on that. That was completely ad-libbed.
Oh, that's cool. Just talking about TV and sort of film to a degree, do you think TV's in some ways a bit more of a collaborative medium?
Oh, a lot more. I directed one of these. There are no less than probably a dozen people who directly had their hands on the film before you see it. There are the writers. There's John Wells who rewrites it. The director then gives his notes and they take some of them, not all. The director chooses some of the music, not all of the music. The director edits, but not completely. Everybody, a lot of people put their hands on the film. Unlike a small independent feature where it's one guy, it's the director, a man or a woman, but that person does everything. I think on a giant feature, it's back to teamwork, but there's one leader and that's the director. Television is 100% collaborative, and that's why it's not for everyone.
And someone, you have been the director, you've also been on a TV team like this. What do you prefer? Do you prefer having sort of more control over things and not letting other people sort of muddy the waters? Or do you prefer working with people and sort of that collaborative process?
I really enjoyed directing the one I did. The pace is too much for me. It's really fast. I mean, you're literally running from setup to setup. And in that situation, I'd rather be the actor. We have an easy job. But I love the collaboration. It was refreshing. I'd love to direct a pilot. It's even more of a team effort on a pilot.
Yeah. You've talked about how you're the cheapest hour on television. The scripts come in early. You all come ready to work. Do you ever have fun on the set, or is it pretty business?
What a great question. I've heard from others that our set is somewhat serious. We laugh, and there's some practical joking, but people have described it as intense and serious and focused. And I think that's a function of the pace that we shoot. I mean, when you're shooting 10 pages in 12 hours, there's not a lot of time for farting around. Also, our scripts come in at 60 pages, 63 pages. A standard TV hour is 47 pages, something like that. So we have a lot of work to do. I think it's interesting that we do such broad comedy at times, and it's so serious.
Yeah. Now let's talk a bit about the Emmys. You get nominated every year for this role, pretty much. I'm not sure of every season because you're in drama categories for a couple of years and then in comedy. But what's it like to get that nomination for that role every year, or all the years you have?
It's sweet. It's really sweet. The Emmy, the Academy is, they're my peeps. They're people I know. I mean, when you get nominated for an Emmy, you did something, or an Oscar. You really did something. They're not rigged. It's not a committee. These are your peers who are voting for you. So it means a great deal. And I've always found it humbling. On the other hand, you have to go to the ceremony and lose. So that ain't fun.
Yes. Well, you've won a couple in your day, though, Bill. You won a few.
I'm here to tell you, it's a lot more fun to win than to lose.
Yeah, a few people have said that I've spoken to.
Yeah.
Especially people who lost a couple years before they won, and they were like, sort of like, oh, I thought getting nominated was good. They go, but no, it is actually a lot better winning.
Oh, it's great to win. It's funny. It's human nature. I mean, you lose and you go, well, of course he won it because blah, blah, blah. Or, this year it was, and you come up with all the excuses. But when you win, you say, no, I think nature is finally aligned. God has had his way. This is what was intended all along, that I win.
Yes. When's Emmy Rossum going to get nominated?
Now, that's an excellent question, brother. I think she's so good. And I'll tell you, the stuff she does on that show is not easy. She juggles the comedy and the tragedy. And I don't understand it. The one I directed, boy, she's a thoroughbred. I mean, you set up the scene and then roll the cameras and just watch her, boy. She is a powerhouse. I don't know. Her time's coming when you got talent like that.
Yeah, I when I started watching Shameless, I had expectations of you and what we'd be getting from you to a degree, and you in the performance you've subverted them a bit, but in terms of the quality of performance, I had expectations. With her, I had no expectations.
Right.
She completely surprised me when I started watching the show.
I know. They've all grown into such lovely characters, and they're acting the bejesus out of this. They're really good. And Emmy's the hardest working on the show. It's consistently, she has the most scenes. She's first there, last out.
Not too dissimilar to Fiona at times.
Not too dissimilar.
Yeah. What do you think defines the Gallagher family?
Love. Those kids love each other, and will always get each other's back. They will always be there for each other, which is not to say that they don't criticize each other and that they are hard on each other sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's about family. And every kid in that house knows whether they have a home or not, they've got a family to go back to. And I find it very moving. And even my character, I think it would kill Frank to never see those kids again. It would kill him. He would hate that, even though he does such horrible things to them and says he doesn't like them. I think it's a celebration of family.
Yeah. Do you think What do you have a favorite moment from season 6 of the show, other than that you've talked about the wedding speech?
Right. Do I have
another favorite moment?
Oh. You know, I've not seen this episode, but as I said, Frank was soul shopping, and they did a montage where I talked to a rabbi, and it was all improv. It was a dumb show. There wasn't any dialogue. And with the rabbi, you can see me talking to him and weeping, and the rabbi walks faster and faster until he runs away from me, and I stand there going, "What?" And then I'm talking to a Buddhist monk who looks like I'm talking and talking and talking, and then finally I wave my hand in front of his eyes and he's sound asleep. He's not meditating, he's ignoring me. And then I talk to a mosque, and everyone's praying to Mecca, and I'm in the background. I made this up, it's pretty good. And I've got a compass, and I'm saying, I'm in the dumb show, I'm saying, that's not east. East is over there. You're praying the wrong way, man. That's Kedzie out there. It runs east and west, man. That's east. And he's going, no, 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 east is there. You know, so I'm telling them they've been praying the wrong direction for all this time. And then it ends up with me talking to some Mormons, 2 guys in white shirts and black ties pushing bicycles with their literature. And I'm looking at the literature, just howling with laughter. So much I can't get my breath. And I go, I'm sorry. And I walk away just howling with laughter. So that was Frank's soul searching. And me with some Buddhist out chanting. And I go, oh, I like this. And I steal a tambourine from one of them, and I get in a fist fight with one of the Hare Krishnas.
It's great, Bill. What you just to wrap up, you as an actor, having had 6 or soon to be 7 seasons of Shameless under your belt, having directed the films that you have, and you're working in film and stuff like that, what are you looking for as an actor moving forward in your career?
That's a good question too. There are some roles I haven't played. I would like to move into the how the French say, "éminence grise," the wise older fellow. I'd like to be the powerhouse. I would like to play I'd like to play a racist, an American Southern racist. I feel like I grew up in the South, and I feel like sometimes movies don't really explore racial issues honestly, and I'd like to try that. I'd like to do the bad guy. I'm allergic to violence. There's so much violence and gunplay in movies. I don't want to do that shit. I hate that. And I'm angry with the business for having so much of it. And they don't tell the truth about violence. And I think it's hurting our country. I really do. I mean, I went to the airport recently, and me and my daughters counted 12 billboards with beautiful actors holding a pistol. Every movie had some actor pointing a gun at us. And I thought, this is horseshit. This is, you know, and I'm not talking about censorship. Just tell the truth about violence. Tell the truth. So I don't want to do those. That cuts a lot of my opportunities out. But I'm not going to direct a play next hiatus. I'd love to do a big feature again, a nice role.
Yeah.
That's it.
That'd be cool. We look forward to those things.
Okay.
A villain without a gun.
Yeah, or, you know, just tell the truth about it. I mean, if someone gets shot, I mean, have them stay shot. I was pitching this idea that, you know, in one of these cop shows, okay, you want all this gunplay, have someone on the show, a regular, whom we all love, have them get shot, but don't write them out. Have him get shot and have him stay shot for the next 5, 6 seasons, where all this guy does or all this woman does is try to get back to life after having been shot. And keep them on the police force, and let's live with them. Let's see what it's like to be the victim of that kind of gun violence. Or have don't get me started.
Oh, well. It's been great chatting. It's been such a nice chat, Bill. It's been so good to talk about Shameless and acting and the Emmys and things like that. Yeah.
I'm proud to be in this show. It's a golden age of television. The best stuff anywhere is on television in the States these days. And I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Yeah. And hopefully those young guys invite you to more of their parties and hangouts.
Yes. Just tell them to move it up, you know.
Yeah, not in Santa Monica. Yeah, I stay with a friend in Santa Monica when I'm down in LA sometimes. And it is a trek to get to anywhere from there.
It's true. It's true. People say, let's meet at Santa Monica at 5. I say, no, I'd have to leave yesterday.
Well, that's why they had it start at 10, Bill.
Yes.
Give you plenty of hours to get down there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been such a lovely chat, Bill. Thanks so much. And all the best with the Emmys.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for talking to me.
No worries. Anytime.
Gotcha. Over now.
Yeah.